All right, guys. Daniel Chang with Vintage Magic, and we're back with Brian. Hey, Brian.
Hey.
We got Paul Mastriano.
How's it going?
All right, so back in the last match, Paul won easily, and Brian is now sideboarding. Brian, why don't you share with everybody how you're going to counteract all this stuff?
Okay, well, Paul and I have the exact same 75, so we're both going to be sideboarding the same way. But one thing that's interesting is the person who is on the play is actually going to sideboard a little bit different than the person who is on the draw. The first thing is that these 9 cards will always be out. These effects are symmetrical, they're both about leveraging mana, and we're both doing the same things, so they are completely pointless. All of
I would say
these
a good rule of thumb in the shot mirror, and it's a kind of something people have said for a long time, the person that can side out the most of these 2-mana sphere effects and profitably put in cards that are better from their sideboard will have a big advantage. So you want to get Thorn of Amethysts are not good against other shop decks so much. Neither are Sphere Resistances. We
even
both have
Trinisphere, which is like the best card. I mean,
All right, so let's clarify
that.
the process real quick, just for everybody. So basically, sideboarding after the first game is done, you both can sideboard.
Yep.
And you're essentially what you're doing is if you're playing a mirror match, you're saying that who gets to pick. You're saying that whoever gets on the draw gets to.
Well, you're going to have a different sideboarding strategy depending on whether you're going to go first in the second game or you're going to be on the draw in the second game.
So how do you know who goes first in the second game?
Based on who won the first
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so who's going first then?
It's going to be
Brian. Okay, he gets the shot. So Brian's going to go first. He's definitely going to be doing this strategy right here. Right. Okay. Gotcha. So you want to eliminate which cards?
These ones.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. Now, these Chalice of the Voids that are staying in, he's leaving those in because he's going to be on the play in this game, and Chalice of the Void is much better on turn 1 than it is on pretty much any other turn. Now, if you're on the draw and your opponent's already played their Moxes, a Chalice for 0 is not very good. So that's why we want to side these out when we're on the draw, but we're going to leave these 3 in when we're on the play.
This card's very powerful on the play. The last game, I think if Paul didn't have a Chalice of the Void, I had a good shot to be in that game. But the Chalice put me away because I just could not get my Moxes deployed. So when I'm on the play, I want to try and have that same opportunity. I want to have the Chalice on the first turn to hopefully lock the Moxes out of his opening hand and make him stumble on mana in the early game.
Right. All right, so let's look at the other cards.
On the draw, since the Chalices do almost nothing if they're not in your opening hand, where they're great on the play, Paul, who's on the draw, is not going to want them. So he's going to bring in these Grafdigger's Cages instead.
Interesting. Yep. Grafdigger Cage is not really the greatest card in the Workshop matchup, but it actually has some relevant functions with the Forge Master. So it's better than a useless Chalice, is basically what we're doing here.
And we obviously both have Forge Masters, and they're among the better cards in this matchup. And it's important to note that if Paul has a Forge Master and a Cage, he can just sacrifice the Cage as part of the cost to activate the Forge Master, and still no drawback. Go get a creature. So it basically sets the parameters of Forge Mastering to only on my clock. If I want to do it, we'll be able to do it. If I don't, nobody's Forge Mastering.
Got it.
And then these are just generic, good threat business cards. And these are the ones that are going to be in regardless of if we're on the play or the draw.
For you and?
Yep, Paul and I will both always have these in. These are the ones that will be different, contingent on being on the play or the draw.
All right, so Phyrexian Metamorph, you're increasing it by a factor of 1. Just to have more.
Yeah,
more
we had
threats.
3 in the main deck, and we're going to add a 4th.
The Ghost Quarter, Brian, what's that effective about?
Well, as we saw in the last game, leveraging mana is everything. So this is a wasteland effect to kill opposing Mishra's workshops, but it's also a land. It's important to be able to keep playing lands because we're both spending so much energy on attacking each other's mana.
The big drawback of Ghost Quarter is that if they have basic lands in their deck, they get to search one out when you use Ghost Quarter to destroy it, but the Workshop deck plays 0 basic lands, so it's effectively going to be a strip mine.
Got it. And then the good old Dismember, and now you have another weapon to destroy another creature.
Right, kill Lodestone Golems or
For a price,
Masters.
for an expensive price, but
Well, yeah, as far as life goes, but
Okay.
life is less important than
Yeah, we're putting so much pressure on each other's mana that just being able to, undo, all our creatures cost 3, 4, 5, 6 mana, and to be able to pay 1 mana to kill a creature is a huge swing.
Now, Crucible Worlds, I'm reading this text here. You can play lands in the graveyard as though they were in your hand. That almost seems like it's good for a main hand, no?
Main deck?
Yeah.
It's a main deckable card. It's just particularly good in a workshop match. And it's probably not as good against blue decks and things like that. It's something that some people do play in their main deck, though. In a workshop.
Why did you guys omit that from your guys' deck initially?
Based on the metagame. This is not what we think is important.
Okay. And then the Battle Skull. So talk about this card. It's in...
Batterskull, yep. Batterskull is an additional threat. It has a lot of diverse applications. It's a large artifact creature that has vigilance, so it's good on attack and block. It gains you life, so it's good against aggressive creature decks. But this is like another body that we're going to be able, another threat that we're going to be able to play to fight each other.
So 5 mana for...
it's going to be a 4/4.
4/4...
vigilance, lifelink creature.
Got it.
Yep, and
So
if it ever gets killed, you can return it to your hand and play it back down again. So it's really,
regeneration.
really powerful in that respect.
Yeah.
It's also relevant, and I've had this come up a couple of times, that it is pretty sweet to equip this to a hangerback walker, because it will grant the hangerback walker vigilance, which will allow us to attack with our hangerback walker and also pump it in the same turn. So we get to do, the best of both worlds there.
Okay.
So
All right, so since Brian again, you heard it from these guys. Brian's gonna put those in his main deck now, and then Paul's gonna be doing the
I'm going to be doing the on the draw play.
so he's gonna basically the cages are in effect.
I'm going to bring the cages in
Instead.
and side out my chalices.
All right, so let's go see how this turns out, guys, in game number 2.
All right.
Thanks, guys.